Hello there and welcome back to my channel. Sometime back, you requested me to create a video on how we can use principles of design while actually creating the designs. And in this video, I'll show you how I use the principles of design to create two interesting slides for one of my presentations. Without any further ado, let's get started. The request is to create two slides for annual town hall, and for that firstly we need to create an opening slide to introduce the town hall panorama annual town hall 2024. So that's the first thing, and secondly we need to showcase the agenda for that particular event on our second slide. So that's the brief, and for the cover image we are planning on using the underwater theme. And to kickstart the design process, let's go to Unsplash and look out for some interesting cover images that we can use for our cover slide. And here's the image that I liked. I really liked how the elements are playing in over here and the variety of colors that we are getting it. It's overall giving me a very good vibe, and I'm going to go ahead with this particular image. In order to use it for my cover slide, I need to play around with it in order to ensure that we have enough spacing for other elements like Panorama 2024, Annual Global Town Hall, company logo and stuff like that. And to make that happen, let me just do the treatment for this one. And so this is the image that we have created after using all the techniques that I knew in Adobe Photoshop to enlarge the image and have space for text. What next? I need to add the name of the event in here. And for that, let's go for Panorama. Why this particular placement, you must be thinking. So if you recall, in the principle I mentioned that to put emphasis on certain elements, try to use the rule of 2/3. And here it is. Next up, we need to place 2024. We have the text, we have the image. What is lacking? And I think unity is lacking right now. The background image and the foreground text, they are not in unity with one another. And to make that happen, we simply need to do one thing, and that is make the text blend with the image. And I have used the masking option to make B and A look as if they are behind the image. So we are bringing the background to the foreground now, and that's adding variety to this particular composition. Let's do the same with 2024. We need to put Annual Global Town Hall over here. This seemed to come together, but still the top area seemed to look pretty empty. What now? We need to balance the composition now. We can see a lot of undersea elements, plants, fishes, etc. being depicted in the picture. So why not use one of those shapes to balance this particular composition? So here we have added a starfish shape, but variety is missing. The surprise element is missing. So here let's add another starfish, which is adding that surprise element and also balancing the bigger starfish shape that we have added. Our composition is ready for use in our PowerPoint presentation now. What next? Let me know in the comment section in case you think there is something else that we should have done with this one, or your thoughts on the composition that we have created so far. Next up, let's move to the next slide, and this is how I visualize it. I again went to the Unsplash, did some search again, and I really like this particular image. Looks pretty interesting, isn't it? I'm thinking of using this as a background for the agenda slide. But do I need to use it as is? Of course not. This is how I plan to use it. Just towards the top, giving enough space for the agenda items. But how did I come to this particular point in my design? And to get an understanding about that, let's see the composition in a black and white mode. This is the composition that we have. Let's see what all design principles have I used in this composition to make it happen. First of all, I have used the rule of repetition. So these lines over here, if you see, they are repeating. But instead of going in a straight line just like this, I have used the rule of surprise in repetition. So if you would have watched my video, I have mentioned that use the repetition principle, but if you add a bit of surprise element to it, your repetition principle will act magic for you. Next up, I have used these circles. I have repeated these throughout the timeline, and this is a very basic thing, of course, right? But again, via color, I have added variety to this. So I have used two colors over here, virtual event agenda. Now, similar colors have been used in the two dots. Instead of having this just plain with one color, adding the colors to the text as well as the dots on the timeline added a lot of variety in the repetition that we have been doing. So the principle that we have used over here is variety through color. Imagine if we would have used just one color for this slide, then it would have become pretty boring. But adding variety through color really added that flavor to the slide that makes it look professional. Be very mindful when you are using two colors in your presentations, because two colors can also resemble that you are trying to partition things into, say, bucket A and bucket B. But over here, since we have a lot of elements, so the variety in color is not segregating things into two buckets, but it's adding flavor to the slide. And for the agenda, we must have explored other layouts as well, but I particularly wanted to use this layout because for this particular agenda, I'm using the principle of movement to help the audience understand step-by-step agenda for the event. So if you'll see, we'll start from here and then the eyes will travel to the Q&A section. And then it moves to the addresses by CFOs, catch-up, and so on. Through our design, we have used the principle of movement to bring forth our message and to help the audience easily and clearly understand the agenda for the event. Other principle that we have used is repetition, of course, through the dots, but via color we have added variety. That's all, folks, for today. And as you can see, we can use interesting images from Unsplash and turn them into super interesting PowerPoint slides. Let me know in the comments section how did you find this video, and let me know if you would like me to create more such videos on using principles of design in my creations, or maybe if you would like me to share more PowerPoint presentation creations. Until next time, hasta la vista, cheeru.